Skill-based matchmaking is dead. Well, at least for Black Ops 7. What's up, guys? This is Merc Music, and welcome back to some more Black Ops 7. I know I just posted a funny moments montage, which if you guys haven't seen that video, definitely check it out after this one. But I just had to record and post this video today because this is some of the most insane Call of Duty news we've gotten in what feels like forever. Treyarch dropped this massive W on us saying open matchmaking confirmed. At launch, open matchmaking with minimal skill consideration will be the default matchmaking for Black Ops 7's multiplayer. Our team is committed to providing players with a more varied experience, and the beta was a valuable opportunity to test this approach. And they followed it up by saying, we've heard the community discussion around lobby disbanding, and we're focused on keeping players together from match to match more often in Black Ops 7. Today, we're excited to announce we'll have persistent lobbies at launch, and we'll have more details closer to launch. And lastly, they rounded this out by saying it's a priority of ours to have a fair and competitive balance across all input devices at launch. We'll be sharing more about potential adjustments to rotational aim assist and aim assist strength on controller ahead of Black Ops 7's launch. I mean, come on, guys. This has got to be some of the best news we've heard in a very long time. Ever since Modern Warfare 2019, which it's kind of insane to think that that was 6 years ago at this point, but basically for 6 years, we've been dealing with the modern skill-based matchmaking system, which gradually over time has heavily diminished how much fun you can have playing Call of Duty's multiplayer. There's just no way to avoid it. And there's been so many negative side effects as a consequence of having really strong skill-based matchmaking in the multiplayer. There's people reverse boosting to try to get easier lobbies. There's people VPNing to different areas of the world to try to get easier lobbies. You got people 2-boxing, possibly even 3-boxing. Hey, just go for the full 5-box. Buy 5 different consoles, trash the stats for all of those, and then party up. I don't even know who actually does that. Regardless, though, that's kind of the whole point. The system itself has been flawed and broken, and over time, it's made playing casual Call of Duty multiplayer lobbies just not that much fun. And that's why this is such big news, because I can confidently say, after playing way too much of the Black Ops 7 beta, that the open mosh pit, which had the classic matchmaking in it, was just so much better. The second they dropped that playlist, I started having way more fun. I mean, but let's be real. There were still going to be some lobbies that just weren't all that great, but that's just part of the classic matchmaking. But by and large, the majority of the matches that I played were very good. They were a lot of fun to play, and there was more variety in terms of player skill and also the things that people were using and trying out than I would have ever seen than if I just stuck to the typical skill-based matchmaking playlist, which was still available and you could still play it. But like, come on, why would you pick that over the classic matchmaking system? It's a no-brainer, and I'm so glad that Treyarch has decided to make this the default matchmaking for the multiplayer across all modes at launch. We have been asking for this for so long, and I know there's a lot of people that are like, okay, well, why did you wait this long to actually do it? And we could, you know, endlessly debate and discuss why they decided to do this. A lot of people will say the simple answer is Battlefield 6, which honestly, you're probably not wrong. But again, we could be here forever trying to figure out why. I'm not really too worried about that. I'm just happy that they decided to do it for this game, and I think it's gonna make Black Ops 7's multiplayer a lot more fun. On top of the fact that they're also gonna have persistent lobbies at launch for Black Ops 7. Now, that is gonna be kind of tricky to see how that works out, and to get a better idea of how they're going to implement this, we should really watch this video, which just got posted not that long ago. Roughly an hour ago, Treyarch posted this dev talk video. It's a post-beta Q&A about Black Ops 7's beta, and it's roughly 46 seconds in. Check it out.
Are we getting persistent lobbies? Yes, our goal with Black Ops 7 multiplayer on day one is to keep players together after a match. Obviously, it's a little trickier with quick play and dedicated servers, but the plan is to keep players together as much as possible.
By the way, just in case you guys didn't know, this is Matt Schranz. He's the lead design director at Treyarch, specifically tackling Black Ops 7's multiplayer. In my opinion, he's basically the modern day David Vonderhaar. He's the GOAT, and his response is exactly what I expected when it comes to persistent lobbies, because the more that you think about it, it is kind of tricky to have non-disbanding lobbies in a game that has a quick play filter where one player might select 2 or 3 different game modes that they want to queue for, but then someone else's quick play filter might be queuing for like 7 or 8 or 9 different game modes. And then it becomes a question of, well, how do you keep those players in the same lobbies when some people don't want to just be queuing for one mode? And because the newer Call of Duty games run on dedicated servers compared to the older Call of Duty games from the Golden Era, which were peer-to-peer, there could actually be some technical limitations here, but it seems like Treyarch is going to try to figure that out, and they're going to do their best to have persistent lobbies. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I feel like the persistent lobbies are probably easier in LTMs or featured game modes where you're just queuing for one specific thing. I feel like when it comes to modes like that, it should be relatively simple to just keep people in the same lobby after every single match. And again, it's really just going to boil down to how they can figure this out for the quick play filter. How are they going to decide if someone wants to stay in a lobby persistently versus consciously choosing to want to play like 9 different game modes, but what if they get stuck in one particular game mode and then they're starting to get frustrated? Maybe they'll feel like the quick play filter isn't actually working or doing what it's supposed to. So yeah, that could end up being a really tricky problem for Treyarch, but we'll have to see how they end up dealing with it when the full game comes out. And when it comes to the conversation of aim assist in Black Ops 7, this is what Matt Schranz had to say.
are you changing aim assist? So I can say we are actively looking at the tuning of rotational aim assist and our aim assist strength across all inputs to make sure that we have a fair and competitive launch for Black Ops 7 multiplayer.
This is a really interesting one, and I'm sure a lot of people who primarily play on PC on keyboard and mouse are probably really happy to hear about this news, and I'm really curious to see how this is going to affect people who are playing on controller. As you guys may know, for a couple of years now, I've been kind of playing on a hybrid sort of setup. I am mostly playing the new Call of Duty games on PC nowadays, and I do still mostly play controller when using ray guns. So like assault rifles, SMGs, stuff like that, I typically just stay on controller because you can't really beat the controller aim assist. It just makes things a lot easier. But when it comes to different types of playstyles, like going melee only or especially sniping, I switch to KBAM. And that's also because when it comes to the sniper rifles in newer Call of Duty games, they tend to have close to no aim assist when you're playing controller. So it's like, what's the point of actually, you know, playing on controller and sniping? This could end up being a really interesting change depending on how much they decide to scale back the rotational aim assist as well as the aim assist strength on controller. We don't know exactly what they're going to do quite yet, but what does make this even more interesting is that now that we have the wall jump mechanic in multiplayer, if they end up nerfing aim assist too much, it's going to make it very difficult for those controller players to be able to stay on track and stay on target. Whereas people who are playing on keyboard and mouse, if they really work on their aim, they might end up actually finding a lot of success when comboing that with the movement. And there were some other talking points in that video, but I do just want to focus more on the topic of, you know, basically having classic matchmaking back for Black Ops 7. It really does feel like this announcement has kind of done a 180 for a lot of players. There are so many people out there that have been dying to hear this news. They've been waiting for this for so long. And I'm pretty sure I even said this before the Black Ops 7 beta and before we even had this kind of information. As a matter of fact, I actually had a tweet about this. On September 24th, I said, I genuinely think that if Treyarch announced that Black Ops 7's multiplayer will have non-disbanding lobbies and reduced skill-based matchmaking on top of today's zombies news, that they win over a ton of people. And that's exactly what they did today. Because strong skill-based matchmaking and disbanding lobbies in the multiplayer for the newer Call of Duty games has led to a massive amount of burnouts. It's actually probably the #1 reason why so many people, even though Treyarch had all these plans and they were talking about all these awesome things that Black Ops 7 was going to do, they ultimately were not that interested because there were these lingering issues of skill-based matchmaking and disbanding lobbies still very much being present. And no matter what they could do, they could be crafting the greatest Call of Duty game of all time, but if that game has strong skill-based matchmaking and disbanding lobbies, then it's still going to tank no matter what. Which is why I also tweeted this. I said this tweet aged like a fine wine. I had said BO7 launching with no skill-based matchmaking and persistent lobbies as the default is so good. Now we just have to hope that future Call of Duty games will keep it. Going back on a W this big would be soul crushing. And that is basically the last point that I want to talk about. Even though we're going to have these amazing systems in place for Black Ops 7's launch, which is great for the multiplayer, at this point, we just have to hope that they do not decide to walk this back. And look, man, I don't care if anyone thinks that I'm preemptively complaining or if I'm worrying too much, because look, we've had to deal with these types of systems for so long now, and it really has heavily degraded the multiplayer experience. And at this point, it basically feels like Treyarch has done the impossible. We finally have a Call of Duty game that breaks that cycle, and we're going to have classic matchmaking as well as persistent lobbies. And the best thing that we can do at this point is just praise it as much as possible and let them know, yes, this is good, this is what we want, and we don't want this to go away. Because I am now genuinely worried that when the game launches, if the data doesn't line up, if they don't see the numbers doing well for this, and if it just doesn't work out for them, then they might end up having a really easy time throwing all of this progress away when they're starting to develop and work on new Call of Duty games. So I'm just gonna say it now, and I'm gonna say it once. Do not walk this back. Please, for the love of Vonderhaar, keep the classic matchmaking and the persistent lobbies going for all Call of Duty games going forward. Because look, man, Battlefield 6 is dropping tomorrow. It's essentially going to have classic matchmaking. It's going to have a server browser. There's going to be a form of persistent lobbies, and their input balance between controller and mouse and keyboard is pretty solid. And it's very obvious that that is a big reason why they're starting to adjust and make some of these changes. It's like, yes, it is based off of feedback, but it is also because of the outside competition. And when it comes to making amazing quality of life changes like this, which, I mean, in a way, they are just bringing back what we used to have, but still, we shouldn't be in a position where we're just reacting to whatever Battlefield's doing and essentially trying to mime it. Regardless if there's very strong competition or not, the changes they're making for Black Ops 7 are objectively good. And again, regardless of the competition, this is feedback that they have been getting from the community for years now. I know I said I would only say this once, but I'm gonna say it one more time. Please do not walk this back. Black Ops 7's multiplayer is going to have classic matchmaking as well as persistent lobbies. That is some of the best news we've had for Call of Duty in a very, very long time. One way or another, they finally managed to squash one of the biggest problems that we've been having with recent Call of Duty games. And there's just no way we can go back after this. We have to continue this trend for every Call of Duty game going forward. But yeah, definitely let me know in the comments what you guys think about all of this news and information about skill-based matchmaking and persistent lobbies for Black Ops 7. I personally think it's amazing. It's a big W for Black Ops 7. I love Treyarch for this, and I love you guys too. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did and you want to see some more Black Ops 7 stuff, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys later.
I don't need a dime, bitch, I'm still out.